I think like a lot of people are really absolutely enjoying life at the moment, getting out, meeting people. I know we've got some great news for the property management side of things, that we allow back doing routines, which will certainly get a lot of the de-stressing of what are we going to do when we get back from it. For you guys who might not know, we launched our training platform with Fiona Blaney yesterday, and I might take it across to someone who's willing to tell me that experience. I did apologise that I missed out on the the training session, but I was committed. I obviously got in there early, and what was great, was fantastic to see, was when I was in there, I think there was 72 participants, people in multiple offices. So we would have had over 80 sets of eyes, which yesterday. And one of the things, so I'd like to think you'd all know, Fiona Blaney rang me last night about 6:30 at night. Oh my God, she was jumping out of her skin. She just could not believe that an organisation that is so young, but yet so committed to the learning side of things. She goes, I work with national companies, I work with international companies at the moment, and yet to see that for the first time for me to do, she goes, I just can't wait. I said, I got as much energy out of yesterday, and I hope I brought some energy to the table. So I certainly like people that haven't responded to the survey get out, because so far it's been extraordinary. It's great. And it also sends us in the direction of what next from that. So for anyone that, which is really cool. We're going to have some great news today, which is really good. Some great news on Friday the 13th. You know, that doesn't happen that often, does it? So I hope you're not superstitious. I hope you're all on board and very positive from where we're at. Firstly, I'm going to take you across to Stace and tell us what could happen. I know this is a temporary, but there could be something that she might let us know.
Yes, so we are definitely aiming to plan the Christmas party for this year. We'll have a celebration on we've got a couple of potential dates, either the 12th or the 19th of December. We're working with a couple of venues at the moment, and we just want to ensure that we find the most flexible and a large venue that can allow for everyone. But just bear with us while we work through those restrictions. And as they slowly ease, hopefully we'll be able to, put together a really special celebration for the end of the year.
Yeah, it's so cool, isn't it, to think that we're moving so quickly and to have the ability to actually say the words that we can actually get together as a group. And yeah, I actually believe this time will be, when we get there on Christmas and get together, it will be one of the best get-togethers that as an organisation ever have, because we've probably seen each other more often, but never than we've ever seen each other before on a regular basis through Zoom. You know, like sometimes we used to catch up on whether it be a training session for 5, 10, 15 minutes, but with our collective Wednesdays, our collective Fridays, our combined training session, we're probably more familiar than ever with the face-to-face communication. So when we actually get together and have a drink, it's going to be a celebration. You don't have to drink to celebrate, but when you actually get together and celebrate, I reckon it's going to just be a great experience. So, Stace, that's some awesome news. And I'm sure you're feeling better getting back into the side of the job of organising and make people smile more than the marketing side of things. Because I know Stace is very proud, and the one thing that she loves most is when she can make people smile with events. So I'm pretty sure you'll be excited about that, Stace.
Yes, I'm very excited. Yeah.
So really, really cool. Jason Absalom, do you want to tell us what's happening in the next, say, fortnight? Bit of a roundup from yesterday with Fiona and over the next couple of weeks.
Yep. So, just reiterating that the feedback's coming through really, really strong on yesterday's session. We did get up to over 80 attendees plus there's a couple of officers that had groups. So that's awesome. That's awesome for the first round. And again, if you haven't had a chance to fill out the survey yet, please do, because we value that feedback and actually we use it too. So going into next week, we've got a really, really, really active week next week. So Wednesday, 3 p.m, collective Wednesday PM. Thursday, we've got Josh Fegan. So 9 a.m. directors, 10 a.m. for sales, 11 a.m. for property management, and then collective Friday on the 20th. Into the following week, we'll have the second round of Fiona. So that's on the 26th. And the other thing that we'd like to also talk about really briefly is we've got fixed dates subject to any restrictions that we might have for Ignite. So that's on the 10th and the 11th of February. So we're starting to work through for Ignite. So that's exciting times as well. So some really good stuff coming up.
When we're talking about the training platform, I might shoot across to you, Anna, if it's okay. Obviously, you're part of our PM Council. How was Fiona?
She was amazing, Dean. I think one thing that I really liked in particular, she asked everyone how they were feeling out of 10. They asked everyone where they were from, you know, office location, etc. And the chat bar just went nuts. It was crazy. But I can honestly say that by the end of that session, if you weren't at a 10, her energy is infectious, and I just got so much out of it. I know our team, they haven't stopped raving about it. We absolutely loved that first session. So I'm really excited to see what she brings the next sort of 12, 14 months.
Yeah, and as I said last time, she was so excited, and we were just having a conversation. We've known each other for years, like in excess of 10 years. I knew her when I was at Noel Jones, and then I knew her obviously at the start, always wanted it. And she turned around and she goes, I don't think there would be a better time to train your team than right now because of where we're all at, what we're doing. And that's so she goes, I just can't wait. She was excited, and she can talk. And when she's excited, she can actually talk more. So I'm just giving that at 6:30. I'm trying to get into a car to go out for dinner with some friends. I said, Fiona, I've got to go. Oh, but Dean, you've got to understand how good it was. So, guys, you obviously gave her the energy back, which is absolutely awesome. Stav, what's going on there with the yellow GT stripe and the moustache? What are we doing with that moustache on, mate?
Okay, so a lot of us through the group are doing it for November. So you wouldn't know, but Jason Mudford's also doing it. But you can't, he's not from Greek origin, so you wouldn't see his. So no, we're just doing it for November, and a lot of us are actually doing it just for awareness, Dean. So I know there's too much GoFundMe and fundraising and all sorts of stuff. Sometimes you can get over the top because especially that we're going through a pandemic at the moment. Not everyone's got the cash to splash, but it's more for. I'm actually not doing it to raise money. I'm doing it for awareness. Because like things like Beyond Blue are 700% up at the moment, and I've got staff back in the office getting the place ready to get it COVID safe because they've been struggling at home as well. So I think it's not in isolation just to males. A lot of people think it, but it's everyone. So that's what I'm doing. In the GT stripe, well, as I said to everyone, we raised 10 grand, and I've got to speak to Clarkey. Am I allowed to dye it black, Clarkey? Does that revert the funds that you've given us, or do I have to stay like this? So I'll wait for Clarkey to give me the answer because I do want to paint it black if I can.
Yeah, no, we want the yellow stripe cross the other way first, then you can dye it black afterwards.
No, that wasn't the deal. It was you paid $1,500 and that was that. So thank you for your contribution.
No, you did awesome.
You wouldn't want it to be white, would you, with recent shambles at Collingwood?
No. And with auctions, Dean, I'm putting something together for Shelley today because we're putting a submission in for Auction TV. It looks like we've put together, and I've just put all the figures together, $100 million worth of sales. And Auction TV is still there if anyone wants to book. We don't have it booked in for next week, but the week after. And we're doing a fair few auctions across the board as well. So a lot of auctions are coming in. And for those that are wondering, you can do auctions in front of a property. What I've been doing is hybrid auctions. I've done it now with a few, where I have the Zoom link and I have my auction, my 10 people at the auction as well. But I believe from the 23rd, we'll have 50 people allowed at auctions. So there you go. That's where I'm at.
I was hoping Frank might be in this room if Anthony's not. Tell us about the auction that Anthony had last week. Wasn't there 122 bids? And that was a hybrid auction as well. I've only seen that on Facebook. I thought it was pretty impressive. Frank, do you want to tell us a bit about that? I'm sure you would have been there.
Yeah, I was there. Actually, it was quite amazing. We had the whole team there. I had a trestle table set up, and Anna had the iPad. We had the iPhone set up with Anna's partner filming it because we had an online bidder as well, which we knew that was going to happen. And then there was another 3 or 4 of us in the crowd. It was amazing. It started $2 million. I said to Stav, if we had been doing it at Croc Partners, we would have needed 2 hours just for this auction because it went for 1 hour, 47 minutes. He was extracting every ounce of water he could get, or lemon juice that he could get out of that lemon. He was just amazing. And the best I've ever seen him, not to praise him, but he was calm, he's collected. He had people, a Greek guy throwing his arms off and going to his 911 Carrera Porsche, moving it. And I had Priya there saying, "You can't leave us now, George. You can't leave me now." So I pulled him out of the car. Then he walked across the road. And then Priya saying, "Where was the bid, Anthony? George, you can't leave now." Now, this George is the biggest, I think, you'd know him, Stav, petroleum owner. All the BPs that are owned along the freeways are owned by this gentleman.
Yeah,
and
of course.
four
I know,
other brothers.
I know him. I know his son. I know his daughter.
If you look him up, he's a billionaire. Not a millionaire, he's a billionaire. Had the wife on the knees, thanking with a sign of the cross. "Frank, thank you very much for after 2 grappers I had with him a month ago. I read this man really well. He did fantastic. Anthony, we got 305 grand over the reserve. It was just amazing auction. Absolutely fantastic. I was so proud. It was amazing.
I'll tell you how good it is. Even my mother-in-law rang me up and said, "How about that sale you had that was," and I go, "Okay, yeah, it went well." I had no idea what it was. So, but when it's getting, the message is getting all the way across to Essendon, it's quite outstanding about that. So congratulations to Anthony and to your team out there, Frank. It's certainly...
Really, well, 122 bids was quite phenomenal. And then he had another one in Ringwood. So he had to rush and he just got to that 10 minutes earlier. But to have an online and Wheelcrock Partners on the lawn there and 2 other bidders on the floor, it was great. And then he went to Open Road and did a cracking auction there and got a 30, 40 grand over reserve there too. So did well on the day. We've made a bit of money.
Awesome. Jason Murphy, what's been happening with you and the team there at corporate and that moustache?
Yeah, lots basically. Just keeping on track with a lot of projects. You know, the year's getting away from us pretty quickly, so we just we are going to have a projects meeting once we can get back in the office on the 23rd. But you know, still doing those daily meetings, keeping connected, keeping each other accountable. Obviously, cue cards and things at home are sometimes hard, so we're on the phones a lot, and basically. We're hoping to launch a website early December, so finalising that, and yeah, that'll be a good finish off the year, along with a Christmas party would be good too, wouldn't it? So, yeah, it's just obviously want to continue off the year strongly and just really finish, I suppose, that those last 30 days and not sort of let it get away from us. So that's what we're really focusing on at the moment, just getting shit done.
Getting what done?
Well, there was a podcast that came out by Rob Dial, and he said "getting shit done," and I just repeated what he said.
Oh, okay. So that was the title of the podcast, not actually the quote. Gotcha. That's good. So everyone can write down. And for everyone's knowledge, Jace, what is the song of the day today?
Well, it's SOS by Rhiannon. Yeah, I haven't sent it out yet though, Dean.
Is that because of Collingwood's efforts in the draft picks and the way the club's going? SOS?
That's a good point. Yeah, it could be. Could be one of those. Eddie Maguire's obviously lost his job as well, so it's not going too well down there, is it? So we might get obviously a new breakfast show in 2021. It'd be good on Triple M.
I might take it across to you, Brendan, if it's okay. You've been joining into Daniel Gallagher's open learning sessions, and Sully said the same, best time of week, which really upsets me a little bit, Sully, because you and I spent a bit of time together. But Brendan, you want to tell us what's been going on with those open learning and how you've joined in?
Look, yeah, it's been really cool. It is actual open learning, and we're all learning every single day and every single week. But it's interesting to find out what other officers are learning and what they do compared to what we don't do or what we do and they don't do. Learning a fair bit through Agent Box, through lead generations and stuff like that's been really cool. Organising Section 32s out of Agent Box and stuff like that's been really proactive and good. And I think that if we continue it, I think we're all going to get a lot out of it and probably a lot more business.
And Daniel's been doing it. Sully, how long's Daniel been doing it for now?
We've probably been doing it the last 8 weeks, and it's just seriously good because you can sort of nut down on what your problems are. You know, in larger sessions, it's hard to do that, but we just nut down. So last week I did a session in relation to I Love PDF, which I do love it. which is just a website. If anyone hasn't looked at it, have a look at it. Do anything you need to do with a PDF. This week we're doing on lead capture. And there's just so much stuff that as a collective group, everyone knows it. This is the whole thing with all of this real estate. Everyone's got something to contribute. And everyone sort of just gets on that page and we just get directly, we find out stuff and we learn stuff together that in a normal training session, we probably wouldn't get done. It's just a different space and everyone's comfortable. So, you know, it's an enjoyable thing. It's not that lockdown, bogged down type thing. I love going to it. Love it. It's only, you know, I love coming to this one, but that's one ahead now. Sorry, Dino.
That's all right.
I do like seeing your face. It's all right.
All right, as long as we still catch up, Sul.
How do we get into the open learning, guys? Well, can we share a link?
Yeah, just a $300 joining fee.
Yeah, we'll get on top of that. We'll send out a link and all that. We'll talk to Daniel first and make sure that we know what's going on because he's in that. But Sully, I'm going to pass this to Clarkie because you left quite an impression on Cal when you caught up in his office the other day. Clarkie, what was the response? You and I in the car, and just to let you know, Pete and I have spent the last 3 days travelling the northeast of Victoria, talking to other agents about our brand and spruiking, opportunities moving forward, which it was an awesome 3 days. We spent a lot of time, talking about real estate, talking about what we can and can't do, talking about it's been great. Exhausting, but great, fair to say, Clarkie. But one of the things we know for sure that Sully left a high, very large impression on a couple of the girls in your office.
They certainly did. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm linked in by my phone as well. Cool. This is the exact reason why I don't have my phone linked to my audio in the car, because the message that came through, Sealy, was put Mudford to shame for a second there, because that you left an impression, and it was something along the lines of, holy expletive, what a whirlwind, that is a man.
Hey, you know what? Tino knows when I'm on, right? So when it's party time and it's on. So yeah, look, I'm not going to walk in there going,
Well, I think you walked in, you made yourself at home, put the cuppa on, you walked through. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll show myself through, and off you went and round. They're going, who the bloody hell is this bloke? It was great. It was really good, mate. No, they loved having you.
An inspection on one of Claire's properties, so I thought, I'll go a bit early. I did that. Went had lunch with Marsh. It was pretty cruisy morning. Missed the call sessions again, Dean. Sorry.
I tell you what, it is good. And now that we can move around a little bit more freely, and Kappa and I have spoken about this, but the ability for us to maybe try and get a little bit more involved, which is the whole reason we've come across to O'Brien's, to be a part of you guys collectively.
I dropped in for the simple reason is, you guys have just joined the group. I was up in the area. They haven't really seen any of us. And so it's just, hey, it is all one big family, as we know.
Yeah, it's not true what the rest of the group have said about you, mate. You're a good bloke.
Yeah, no, it sounds exactly like what Langley said in the earlier session.
Obviously, there's a lot of going down there. Gippsland, we've got Rod in here. What's been happening in your world out there, mates?
Like you, I've been touring Northern Victoria, so I've been up in Dalesford for 3 days and having a break. It was the 30th wedding anniversary and really not caring, quite frankly. But the boys are busy enough. I think Brendan, to his credit, just put 3 or 4 on this week. I haven't caught up with everyone from the office yet. So other than got to sort out a couple of things with a couple of the girls, but that's part of the course when they're all sitting at home for far too long. I've got to get them back into the office, I think, get some sanity back into everybody again. So, no, it's been busy. The guys are selling well. There's plenty of buyer activity. So looking forward to getting everyone back together and back to the real world, if we want to call it that.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I'm sitting in here, Berwick, today, catching up on a few things, and I'm quite enjoying it, seeing people. I've got Kat in here, I've got Josh in here, and everything else like that. So I must admit, I'm quite really enjoying a lot of that. So got some really great stuff happening at the moment. Clarkie, just explain what our trip was about, and so people know what we're trying to achieve. Because I'm sure this room has a lot of people that they know, whether it be Gippsland, whether it be Western region area, whether it be, like, obviously the Northeast. We knew a few people up the Northeast. Clarkie, it's my home track, that Northeast Victoria. So we thought we'd just take on a journey.
I'll tell you what, talk about name dropping. Everyone we ran into, you knew either their cousin or their second cousin or barmate. But no, we're up visiting a lot of the regional offices, both through my contacts, Dean's, Josh's, just trying to spread the word of what we are trying to do from a regional model. And putting a real emphasis into that, because regional Victoria, it's got a lot to contribute, and the market, especially since COVID, is going to be really active. And we thought we'd take advantage of that, because no different to a lot of people finding frustrations at home, I think a lot of people are reassessing everything in their business as well, and whether they're frustrated with them, with their group or who they're with. So it was a really good trip. We had a lot of positivity. I think one of the big things we took from it, Dean, was the brand is actually really getting some traction, because even in some of the the regional corners, the brand wasn't the conversation. People knew the brand, were impressed with the brand, and so that's a real credit to not just corporate and you guys, but the entire group, because the brand recognition was awesome. It was really awesome.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? Because we're up there, Yarrawonga, and the guy turned around and said, "I reckon O'Brien Real Estate would really fit well in Yarrawonga." And it's like, so it's sometimes when we sit in that insular bubble of Melbourne Metropolitan, and certainly our group, but it was such really, and in Wodonga, the same thing. We didn't, where we used to find it hard to push the brand job, but no one knows your brand. Well, I found that unbelievable, because everyone knew the brand and thought it would complement a model up there. So to Jason, the corporate team, the message is getting out, not just in Metropolitan, it's getting out in regional. And Stav, you're fair to say, isn't it, when we set out to do this, it wasn't about biggest brand, but have be number one in all markets served. And that's why we think we've got a real great opportunity to work just in Metropolitan to regional. So if there's anyone out there, please, text me, text Jace, text Pete, text Stav, or even phone call, some details. Just say, if you know someone, a family friend that maybe in real estate or something like that, in regional Victoria, we're now exploring out. I know you do spread the word wonderfully for us in Metropolitan, but we want to be the number one Victorian-based brand and partnership through Metropolitan Regional. And that's what we were doing in the last few days. And it was quite a journey, and it was a great trip, mate. Thanks, Clarkey. It was really, really good. So
thanks, mate. It's great.
Just on the other side of it, what else has been happening out there? I might go across to Rochelle Baker, if that's okay. Rochelle, you probably had your first property management training session yesterday with Fiona. If you don't know, Rochelle's just started with us just before lockdown, new to property management. How did you find Fiona?
Yeah, no, she was awesome. I was probably, when I started that session, at a 9. By the time I finished, I think I was at a 13. So yeah, she was fantastic. I was revved up.
Yeah, and I'm speaking to. I just had Josh here he said the same. Unbelievable. Kat reckons she was on a low, and then she was on a massive high as well. So certainly bring a lot to the table from that moving forward. How did you find the online training perspective from that, her delivery?
Great. Yeah, really good. I loved it. Yeah, I was just completely wound up from, she was quite, her laughter was quite infectious in the way she sort of carried herself. Yeah. No. Just kept me going. I just kept listening and taking notes, and yeah, I'm looking forward to ongoing training with Fiona, definitely.
That's awesome. I actually got Anthony in here. You missed the first part of it. Frank was giving you a high compliment, mate, about the auction, but you want to give us an hour and 47. Did you get paid 5 times your amount for your auction fee? Because it went 5 times longer than most auctions.
I wish, but not quite. But it was a good result, and it was good publicity for the group and the office. And more importantly, I think both the parties, which is hard when it goes that long, but both the parties were happy. And really, I think that's why we do it. It's quite rewarding. No doubt the old man, even if I did a bad job, he'd probably say I did a good job. So God bless him. But it was good. And I think it was, I'll tell you what was hard. It was hard to have a bidding zone or an auction area. So we had a few people, unfortunately, croak behind, which wasn't on the boundary on the property, but it's just hard to maintain that at the moment, no matter how hard you try to do it. And hopefully with some restrictions getting eased, it's good. But yeah, we had a couple sell on the day, and hopefully we'll get a few more. I've already had an appraisal out of it yesterday, so hopefully that will come as well, even though it's not our backyard, but that was just the neighbour that attended. So we use it as a listing tool, and we'll wait and see how the results come.
How did you find the hybrid bidding?
Yeah, mate, freaked me out. Never done it before in regards to it, and I actually have to check. Lucky I had Anna on board and a couple of others that were just monitoring it. But it actually worked out really well. We did give it a trial run a couple nights before just to see what it would be like. But no, it was good. And look, I think I don't like using that phrase, the new norm or whatnot, but it's definitely an option moving forward that I think people are going to get used to, whether it be this year or in 10 years' time. On-site and online is going to be something that we've got to adapt and innovate to. And the earlier we do it, the ahead of the curve will be. So I think we're going to embrace it a bit more and do it to every auction we do and use it as a listing tool. We'll film it on Zoom and, you can send that to or get it highlighted and send it to potential vendors.
Stan made a nice little smart comment here in the chat bar you might not be able to see. Why don't you tell him because he's driving? What was it, Stan?
It's just like TikTok, mate, just with bids.
Yeah, except, I'll leave that alone. I will bite my tongue. Yeah.
I know we can't see Bronny, but I hope you're in here, Bronny, and we can hear you because we had our you're here, awesome. We had our first admin collective admin group. When was it?
Tuesday, Wednesday. What day was it?
No, it's gone quick. It was Tuesday morning. We've had so many meetings and everything. It was a good get together, wasn't it?
It was really good, really, really good. And I think, one of the good things was that everyone getting that acknowledgement that sometimes we're the forgotten stepchildren of the business. It's the first collective that we've sort of kind of had as a group, and being able to reach out to so many different people across so many different offices, we all came to the realization that we've held it together just as much as the PM team have had it as well. Hearing everyone's different stories, understanding where they're at, where they're feeling, was really good. And I came out of it really, really positive, really, really positive. So it was good.
And one of the things we actually did say, it sort of come up and it just sort of flew through, is that the operations team has been the glue that's kept us all together, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
And probably the forgotten people, and I say that with all respect, but because we've been so collective Wednesday, but a lot of them have joined in at the same time. But yeah. I did find it was fantastic to catch up as a collective group with those guys, and I suppose would like to see Jace, if you could send a survey out to people that did attend that JA and just see if how often or what it looks like, and should we continue from that, because I certainly know we got a lot out of it. What's your thoughts on that, Bronny?
Look, I think it should continue as a Zoom meeting. It's very difficult for the administration team to get away from their offices to attend events and training events, because we are the glue that is holding everything together. And one of the comments that Shelley made came to mind. I don't think she's ever worked this hard in her 20 plus years in real estate. It's been nuts for all of us in terms of adapting and evolving. And I think if we can continue to share that knowledge, everyone's going to benefit, and a Zoom meeting's an ideal way to facilitate that.
Bronny, let's be clear on that. That's not because Shelley working the hardest ever in 20 years in real estate. That's because she has to work for Jason Mudford.
Therein lies the problem.
It's not the pandemic. It's actually Jason Mudford.
See, that's why I've been working so hard too. It's all those messages and emails from Muddy. Right.
I'm Jason. I'm sorry.
But I think we have all had to learn very quickly and adapt and evolve. And for the administration team, from the receptionist, they've had to go, well, how do I do all of this from home? What do I do? How do I do it? And I think, we are the glue that have held the team together. And when the team have had their little meltdowns and the property manager's gone, I don't know how to do this, or the sales team going, help, I don't know how to use DocuSign, we're the ones that are jumping in and driving and pushing forward that adaptation. So I think we're going to see a very, very different industry once we come out of this. We're probably going to see more technology being embraced more efficiently. We had a quick team meeting with my receptionists this morning and my admin staff, and we reviewed all of our Agent Box tasks as opposed to some of the older checklists and things. And I said, well, why aren't we using these tasks effectively, tasks and the activity schedules in Agent Box? And let's really embrace moving to electronic processing with one source of truth, which is Agent Box. If it's not in Agent Box, it's not real. So we're working on using that. So they jump into their tasks each morning. Oh, settlement's coming up for 23 Smith Street this week, 3 days beforehand, order the board down, bang, done next. They're not having to raise manual diary entries and things. So I think I've learned a lot out of everything that we've had to change and adapt over the last 3 months and 1 week. And we will continue to apply what we're learning and continue that when we even are allowed to go back into the offices. So.
Excellent, Bronnie. And again, thank you for jumping into that. It was really good. And from that, and what about you, Shelley, down there? We'll bring you in because you're apparently the hardest working operations manager. And I do agree with that.
No, I didn't say I was the hardest specifically. I just said I'm working hard. It may not be hard compared to some other people. They might be running a bit faster than me. I don't know.
But there's one thing for everyone in the room, and it's fair to say, Shelley, you forget because property managers have been dealing with moratoriums, they've been dealing with hardship forms, they're dealing with all of that, and then salespeople have been dealing with nothing, so they've been dealing with themselves on virtual inspections, etc., and keeping it up and wondering what's next. But operations in that back end, hasn't there? There's been JobKeeper, JobSeeker. There's been a lot of other things. Stood down policies, employee shores every Friday, and you forgot about it. Well, we actually genuinely forgot about it, didn't we, Shelley?
Yeah. And just keeping on top of your COVID plans and making sure everyone's got permits, so if they get pulled over, they're okay, and all that sort of management of that paperwork was huge.
Yeah, and on top of keeping things rolling over.
Yeah, and all the other stuff that we have to do, keeping, dashboard working and emails working and all that sort of stuff. People obviously were being stood down, so we had to make back-end changes for those sorts of things. It was huge for all the ops teams during that time.
And again, a credit to you guys. Doing a super job. Now, Ash, I'm going to send across you from the corporate team. What have you been working on lately? I hope it's my stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this week we've actually launched an outdoor dining experience. The image will change today. So this afternoon, you'll see the new change. So what it is your fan base will share the post and then they go on a chance to win an outdoor dining experience valued at $200. The competition will end 1st of December and there's 8 winners. So we've grouped different offices together and when the winners are announced, we'll communicate with them and the vouchers will be dropped off at the nearest O'Brien Real Estate office. But myself and Muddy thought it would be good as restrictions have eased. A lot of people will be wanting to get out of their homes and spend time with their family and friends.
It's a great initiative, and just as simple as what do they have to do again?
So they'll have to share the post, like it, and just tag 2 friends. So keep an eye out this afternoon with the new image, and then I'll send a reminder out as well in the OWrap.
Is it going to be consistently new images coming out? Is it, or it's going to be the one image?
No, it'll be one image, yeah. It will just change today. We're just changing it up.
All right. So, guys, when you see this, is a great opportunity to obviously create our social media presence. And on top of that, great initiative, by the way, guys, a corporate super idea. So let's get behind them and hope that one of our family and friends are the ones that actually win the dining experience and jump on board. Stav, anything else that before we go through, is there anything else anyone would like to? I could see outdoor dining experience at the pizzeria. Well, mate, I think you do a pretty good breakfast. When I was there last time, that was quite good, and a good coffee. So, but Stav?
Don't you let Stav speak at all.
Okay. Why did you sit down, Jared?
Have I missed something?
I thought it was best
I'll send you the photo, Dean. When Jared was standing up before on the Zoom link, he needed to suck it in because the camera was focused on his girth. So all of a sudden, as soon as I sent him the message, he sat down very quickly.
I actually thought the airbag went off, to be honest, Stav, but that's another story for later. So, Stav, as we move forward, what else are we going to talk about?
Look, I think we've just got to keep focusing on the main thing, keep the main thing the main thing. I don't think we're going to have a slowdown at the moment over the Christmas break. Traditionally, it slows down around January, around the 15th of December. The trends at the moment are showing that we're consistently doing around about 6,500 sales a week nationally, except for the last week, which we did 7,040. So the activity is there. There's a heat map at the moment, which I got my hands on. There's a huge internal migration going on, Dean, at the moment through not just states in Australia, but also through Melbourne. Like a lot of people are going to be working 3 days from home. So they're looking for bigger properties. Langwarren's been a real good destination. So have the city of Casey and a lot of other areas. So people are moving out. So I think we've just got to keep the pedal to the metal and replenish where we can, you know, rest where you can. And when you're at work, be at work. When you're at home, be at home.
Stav, I'll just chime in there if you don't mind, mate. I just did the report card this morning for this week. 98 sales, 122 offers. I first looked at that and I thought, that was a number of offers unaccepted. When I went in and actually reviewed it, it's actually a number of multiple offers on private sales. So that's also testament to the strengthening in the market. So when I looked at that first, I took it immediately negatively. But then when I went back through all the broadcasts that came out, there's actually a really high volume of multiple offers coming through now. So again, that's just showing that strength in the market.
I was talking to Lenny on Sunday, wasn't it, Jason? Michelle took something like 12 offers on one property on the weekend, regardless, and wrote everyone up on DocuSign and did everything. I thought, that's a client experience. Certainly a lot of work, but an awesome client experience and a testament to her and all of that. Jace, anything else that we might have missed or we need to talk about, Jason Mudford?
No, I don't think so, Dean.
In that case, guys, thanks for jumping in. It's always good to get together. I said at one stage, I think we're up over 50 people again for a Friday. I think it's been an awesome week. I hope you can feel the positivity, because I just think it's, the energy, we've got to sell energy. As you said, keep the pedal to the metal, sell energy. And as Sully made, if you're going past an office, don't be afraid to pop in and say hello, because it means the world. It meant a lot to Kelly that you did that. You certainly left an everlasting impression, Sully. And I think if we could, as a group, as a family, we do more of that, we're just going to win together. So well done. Have a great weekend and stay safe.
Thanks, mate.